Let me tell you about the time a 1,500-pound bull named Sheriff took down the most entitled person I've ever met. Oh, and did it in front of half the HOA, a tray of cupcakes, and more than one horrified bystander. Believe me, if you think karma doesn't show up on four hooves and a set of horns, well, let me just say you haven't met Sheriff or Karen. See, it all started on one of those blindingly sunny mornings, the kind where the air already tastes like grass and old dust, and the only thing more relentless than the sun is the HOA President's Group emails. Karen was something else entirely. Picture a woman with the poise of a talk show host and the boundaries of a 3-year-old in a bouncy castle. She had this white golf cart she drove like it was a sports car, always chasing shade and shortcutting through my family's land, past signs that practically screamed private property in bold county-approved font. I guess rules are more like suggestions to her. She'd park that cart wherever she wanted, always right in front of my barn doors, muttering Shade's public property like she was quoting scripture. But let's rewind a little. My farm sits right up against this highfalutin neighborhood that sprouted up about 10 years back. Gated, manicured, everyone waving at each other like they're auditioning for a detergent commercial. And somewhere along the way, the people in those houses, mostly folks like Karen, decided my land was just another part of their community. Karen, though, she was the queen bee. Her daily shortcut ran straight through my hayfield. At first it was just annoying. She'd barrel through at sunrise, waving like we were old friends, sometimes hollering morning farmer and kicking up more dust than a tumbleweed in a windstorm. I tried to keep the peace. Honest, I did. I even put up a little gate, painted it myself, stuck a nice sign, private property, please use main road. Sweet right. The next morning the latch was busted and there's Karen rolling through, grinning with a brand new laminated sign hung right over mine, shared community access authorized by HOA. I swear if you looked up Gaul in the dictionary you'd see her headshot. It escalated. She started parking her cart smack in front of the barn right where we load hay, like she'd reserved the spot on open table. She'd disappear for hours, sometimes off gossiping near the pickleball courts, sometimes sunbathing on her roof dog and her lap iced tea sweating all over my feed sacks. Didn't matter if we needed to get in or out. She'd just waggle her fingers and say, "Relax, it's a community patio. The sun's perfect right here." Entitlement, I'm telling you. Entitlement marinated in sunscreen. Now, I did what any reasonable person would do. I called the HOA. Their answer? "We'll look into it." That's HOA, speak for, "We'll wait until Karen complains about you." Next thing I know, she's hosting a barnside brunch. Picture it, 3 ladies folding chairs, cupcakes, and Kenny G blasting from a Bluetooth speaker while my ranch hands line up with feed buckets waiting for the red carpet to clear. It would have been funny if it weren't so infuriating. That night I sat on my porch drinking coffee and stewing. Sheriff, our biggest Angus bull, was nearby watching the whole thing with these wise old eyes. He'd been stuck in the barn all week for pasture rotation and was itching for something to break the monotony. Sheriff hates 2 things: shiny objects and anything encroaching on his space. Karen's golf cart with its chrome mirrors and eagle hood ornament must have looked like a rival bull staking a claim. And listen, I'm not a bad guy. I don't wish ill on anyone. But I do believe in natural consequences. So when Karen parked right in front of the barn again and I knew Sheriff was dying for a little exercise, well, I just opened the gate. I didn't shove him. I didn't chase him out. I simply let nature take its course. Sometimes the universe lines things up too perfectly to ignore. From the barn, I watched it unfold. Karen reclined in her seat, sunglasses on, drink in hand, humming along to the music, not a care in the world. She had no clue that 15 feet away, Sheriff was about to become her reckoning. I let the old barn door creak open. Sheriff stepped out, his coat, gleaming muscles rolling under his hide. He stopped, sniffed the air, rubber tires, iced tea, and arrogance. He saw the cart, and you could just see the light go on in his big bovine head. Karen finally noticed, laughed, and called out, "Well, hello there, Moo. You lost that woman. I swear thought he was somebody's pet." She even pulled out her phone and started filming, panning over Sheriff like she was submitting a safety violation to the HOA. Sheriff took one look at her cart, snorted, and then bam, charged like he was going for gold at the rodeo. Karen screamed a real blood-curdling sound that echoed all the way to the clubhouse. She tried starting the cart, but the battery was dead. She pushed, she kicked, she honked, nothing. Gave up and ran barefoot to the nearest tree purse, flapping sun hat flying off. Sheriff, bless him, didn't gore the cart, just smashed his head into the front, snapped the bumper, flipped her sweet tea, and then stood beside the wreck breathing hard like he'd just won a prize fight. If there was ever a bull who deserved a standing ovation, it was Sheriff that morning. Karen hid behind that tree yelling, "Call someone, animal control, that thing is wild." I finally walked out, trying not to grin. "Karen, you okay?" Didn't expect company so early. Barn was blocked. I had to let Sheriff out for his walk. She was shaking. "You did this on purpose. You could have killed me." I shrugged. "Signs are up. Private livestock property. Maybe don't block a working barn." She started huffing about lawsuits and destruction of property, but I told her plain and simple, I had footage, lots of it every day. She'd parked there every time she'd ignored a sign. "We record everything, Karen. It's for safety. Not just Sheriff's safety, but everyone's." Her face turned the color of a ripe tomato. She grabbed her purse and stomped off toward the HOA, swearing under her breath. That afternoon, 2 HOA board members showed up, clipboards in hand, talking about community safety violations. I walked them around, showed them the property lines, my family's land not part of their HOA never had been. Showed them the footage. Their faces went pale. One muttered, "Oh boy." The other just shook his head and left. For the first time in weeks, the barn was peaceful. No carts, no brunches, no Kenny G, just the breeze, the animals, and the sweet taste of justice. But of course it wasn't over. People like Karen don't quit when they lose, they regroup. She came back with reinforcements, Curtis, the HOA president, and Angela, the treasurer, both looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Karen started in waving a manila folder and rattling off hazards and easement laws. Curtis tried to find a compromise. Angela filmed me on her phone, and Karen claimed she had every right to cross my land. By now I was done playing nice. I told them straight up the land was governed by county agricultural law. The actual sheriff, Bill Chambers, a family friend, already had a copy of the footage. That got their attention. Curtis apologized. Angela stopped recording, but Karen just doubled down, threatening lawsuits and emotional distress. 2 days later, I got a court summons. Karen was suing for damages, trauma, and get this, attempted vehicular manslaughter by animal proxy. My lawyer laughed so hard he nearly fell out of his chair. We went to court. Karen showed up in a neck brace and a black shawl like she was auditioning for a soap opera. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. Karen cried about Sheriff locking eyes with her, about fearing for her life. I kept my cool, showed the security footage, Karen sunbathing, refusing to move, then running from Sheriff. The judge watched, played it back twice, and asked, "Why were you parked in front of a working barn on private property?" Karen stammered something about the angle of the sun. Verdict, case dismissed. Judge warned her about further harassment. She left in a huff, brace magically gone. Folks clapped me on the back, laughed about the video, and by sunset, Sheriff was the talk of the town. But Karen still wasn't done. She started filing complaints, zoning code, even tried to claim I'd modified the barn illegally. The inspector came by, but everything was up to code. He even suggested installing trail cameras and reminded me, some people just use the system for payback. Don't give her any room. So I put up new signs. Digital cameras, a steel gate with a keypad, the works. I leaned into Sheriff's local fame, made shirts, stickers, even set up a Sheriff's Barn showdown viewing area for the neighborhood. People loved it. Karen hated it. You could see her fuming, watching families laugh and take photos with Sheriff. Then in true Karen style, she tried to outsmart the system. She bought a new, shinier golf cart, tried to sneak around the new gate, and got stuck in a cattle grate. This time she didn't even stick around to explain, just vanished, cart abandoned, probably knowing she was caught on camera. I had it towed by a specialty company. Petty maybe, necessary absolutely. Her last act was to try and have my land rezoned as residential overflow. Got the county involved, filled out forms with signatures from people who had no idea what they'd signed. But see, when you've got history on your side, a barn built by your granddad, property lines older than the HOA itself, and the whole town behind you, you're hard to beat. I brought in every document, every video, and a rockstar attorney. The zoning board ruled unanimously in my favor, then updated their own rules to block future Karen-style attacks. So here's what I learned, and I wish I'd learned it sooner. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's patient. It's knowing your rights, staying a step ahead, documenting every move. It's playing the long game when you're up against someone who lives for drama. And every once in a while, justice has horns and knows how to open a gate. The legend of Sheriff lives on. Neighbors still come by for photos. The barn's quiet, the gate's locked, and for now Karen is gone, licking her wounds, plotting her next move probably. But something's changed. The town's watching, the fences are real, the bull's got a fan base, and maybe, just maybe, the lesson finally stuck. But let me ask you, where's the line? When does standing up for yourself turn into picking a fight? And how far would you go to defend what's yours when the system keeps siding with the loudest complainer? Is there such a thing as going too far? Or is there a point where karma just takes the reins? I want to know, drop your thoughts below, tell me what you'd have done, or share your own run-in with a Karen, a Curtis, or a bull named Sheriff. Because at the end of the day, it's your story too, and trust me, I'm all ears.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.